Hey there, fictional friends, and welcome to another episode of Fully Booked. I'm Megan,
And I'm Shereen.
and it is the first week of March. Hello, everyone.
March.
Happy Women in History Month. Hooray.
Yes.
Yay.
And spring.
Yeah. And well, not right now, but
I mean,
hopefully,
spring-ish.
if you're listening and hopefully in your area, either like it is getting warmer or snow has melted in some capacity, whatever the case may be, it looks like the pendulum is still swinging here back and forth with regards to like how cold it wants to be at any given time and if it's going to freezing rain or snow in some way. But I'm kind of hoping that the slightly warmer weather that we're getting right now just sort of means that it's on its way out. And between now and like the end of this month, I will be like, yay, I can wear shoes again.
Oh no. You know what my prediction is? I think April 22nd, we're going to get a big dump of snow. And then all of a sudden, it's going to be like super hot. And then it's going to be summer.
Why would you even put that out into the world?
Because I know it's going to happen.
That's so specific. Also, April 22nd. We need to mark it on the calendar and then we need to revisit this. If it actually happens, then you're a witch.
Then I'm a witch.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Nostradamus, one or the other.
No witch. Anyway, all of that aside, we are kicking off the month by having a quick chat because we know that there are a couple of pretty big film releases this month of adaptations that we're going to be talking about. So before all of that kind of kicks off, we thought we'd have a little chat, and I had been mulling over, I guess, multiple different ideas, and something that came to mind when I was thinking about what we could potentially talk about this week was the idea of mood reading. And I think it's because the seasons are slowly changing, exactly what we've just been talking about. The seasons are slowly changing. And so between that and like the idea of like mood reading and like seasonal reading and things, I started thinking about like how my reading habits and my wants kind of change as the seasons change. And I mean, like, I'm like this all year to a degree. It's not just seasonal. I am definitely like a mood reader. I definitely classify as one for sure. But that, you know, that I've seen so many posts and everything online just to like the varying degrees that some people experience like different types of mood reading, you know, depending on like what they're feeling and what they're looking for and stuff at any given time, and how some people are completely the opposite. So I was thinking that we could just kind of dive into that, like sort of like what it is and kind of how it affects us at different times, how it seems to affect other people, and just have kind of an overall chat about that to kick things off. Just a little easy chat to kick the month off, you know. Before we get started with all of that, Shereen, do you have anything on your nightstand right now?
I do, actually. I am about to start because I've been plugging through some ARCs the last few weeks, so y'all can check out my reviews on our website.
Yeah, check out what To Cage a Wild Bird.
And breathing is how some people stay alive.
Yeah.
The latter one was surprising. Did not realize it was horror when I was delving into it. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. Lights back on, I guess.
Oh, dear. Not caught off guard horror for Shereen. That never goes well.
But it wasn't like gory horror. It was like psychological horror, you know? And I'm like, ugh, I don't like this. But also, I really like it. So
I was going to say, also, your review was quite positive. So I was like, I don't know. I don't think I hated it, though.
Great book, like really fun, fun but not fun. Anyway, go read my review and then decide if you want to read it, but it was good. I am reading a book I'm going to be reading. I haven't started it yet, but I've got like a teetering pile of TBR books, and
'tis the life. Everybody,
'tis the life.
I feel like anybody here is just like, yep,
of
relatable.
course, because we also know that book buying and book reading are two separate pastimes.
There's two separate hobbies, and a lot of us have a tendency to do both of those things. So let's.
Correct.
Yeah.
So top of my teetering pile is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang,
I think. Yeah.
Which is it's a dark academia, also kind of like an ancient Greek kind of feel to it, is my understanding. The main character, you know, through a series of unfortunate events around magic, ends up in hell with one of her classmates, I guess he must be. and they're trying to find their professor who died. And then there's like a whole element of like Dante and Orpheus, which is interesting to me because I studied Dante in university. So I'm like, oh, I'm curious to see how we integrate Dante into this story because this has had some really good reviews. I may or may not have bought this based on the cover. Don't judge.
I mean, this one got major hype. R.F.
It
Kuang's
did.
stuff as a rule has gotten like a lot of hype in general. She does seem
Yeah.
to be very divisive as an author. People seem to love her or hate her stuff.
Yeah.
So I've never read any of her stuff, I will say. So I'm curious.
Neither have I.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how this goes for you, just to see like I guess what your feelings are by the end of it.
Totally. What was interesting was when I was buying this
Yeah.
is the first and only time this has happened to me where I went to like pay for it. The guy at the cash, he like wanted to have a full-on conversation about this book. He was like, I just finished this. He's
Oh.
like, it's really good, but he's like, you got to give it a minute to get into it. He's like, because it's a bit of a slog to get into it.
Okay.
He's like, but it was totally worth it. I'm like, okay.
All right. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it's weird, it's surprising. The only times that I ever have actual full-on conversations with people in bookstores is when I'm at a smaller independent shop. The big box
Oh yeah.
places, I find a lot of the time I went into our like Indigo is like the big thing in Canada, like it's our
Yeah.
conglomerate essentially that exists, and I went into an Indigo in the fall looking for maybe early copies of Brimstone because some people were finding them ahead of time in
Mhm.
places, and I went to the cash to pay for a couple of other purchases I was making. I asked the girl at the cash if they had maybe received them and had any that would like be able to be sold ahead of time, and she did not know what book I was talking about.
Oh no.
Yeah. So like you'd be surprised now, I think, by people who work in big box stores don't necessarily do it for the love of the stuff that they're working with, which is interesting.
And you know what? Like, I think because that's been my experience, I was shocked when I was in Indigo and this guy was like, oh, yeah, I just read this. And then he started like coming out with other book recommendations. And I'm like, oh, shit, you actually like books. Like, I've
Yeah.
never actually had this experience in Indigo where
I
somebody's
feel like
talking to me.
I used to. I
Yeah.
feel like back when like the stores first became very popular, like I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, like in our area anyway, and
Yeah.
this started happening, the conversations I would have with people who were working there, it was clear that they were very knowledgeable and really passionate about
Yeah.
the books that they were reading. And I find that now that's like not really the case anymore.
Mm.
So when I do go to either a smaller bookstore and get to have a chat with someone, or on the rare occasion that I do get to talk to anyone at any place that I happen to be purchasing something and I
Yeah.
can have an actual conversation, I always find that really fun.
It is fun. I had a
Mm.
great time. I was like, can I just come back and talk to you every time I'm buying books?
Yeah, that's it exactly.
It just makes a better experience.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you?
Okay, so I've just blazed through a couple of ARCs that we'd received from Penguin. I don't remember if I talked about spoiled milk the last
No,
time
you
that we
didn't.
were on the pod. Okay, so the last time we did this. So I recently finished a book called Spoiled Milk by Avery Curran. It's a debut novel. It is kind of a combination of like horror and dark academia to a degree, set in the 1920s in an all-girls boarding school.
Mm,
um, Essentially within the upperclassmen, like the girls who are graduating shortly, one of the most popular girls at the school dies kind of mysteriously one
mm,
night after she seemingly like falls downstairs.
mm,
Her best friend, who's the main character, as well as the other friends in their group, don't necessarily believe that this was like an accidental death. They think
mm,
that perhaps she was murdered, and they start looking into things. But there's an additional layer that becomes clear as there are strange happenings that start to occur at the school that actually lead them to believe that like, oh shit, I don't even think this is just like a straightforward she was murdered by someone. I think there's something supernatural happening
oh, shit,
at the
okay.
academy. And so it kind of like devolves into this surprisingly like very tense and very intense situation. There will be a review up on the site by the time you guys hear this episode, so you can go check that out at fullybooked.ca if you want to, like along with Shireen's reviews. This was a really interesting one. It's a really solid debut in my
Mm,
opinion. Like, it was very well written, the characters were very compelling. Some of the pacing for me was a little bit too long. Like,
mm,
there was some stuff that could have maybe been cut and stuff like that. That was just sort of like personally how I felt about it. But it was a really enjoyable, like really solid read.
Mm,
Genuinely had like a lot of good moments of tension and a lot of other stuff like that too, which I really appreciated. So that was very
mm,
cool.
that's
And
cool.
my other book that I literally just finished yesterday,
Yeah.
that I'm hoping in the next few days will also be on the site, is called How to Write a Love Story by Catherine Walsh. This is an upcoming rom-com that follows an editor, a younger editor, like 30-something editor from New York, who is an editor for a very large publishing house that their biggest claim to fame is this epic fantasy series
Oh,
by
cool.
this extremely well-respected author he wrote 9 books in his series. There was a plan for a 10th, which was supposed to close the series out, but unfortunately he passed away about a year prior.
No, that is
um,
unacceptable.
yeah.
No.
So he never really got to finish it. He'd mapped out certain aspects of it, but he'd never gotten around to completing it. However, as a stipulation to the owner, basically, or the manager of the publishing house, he's asked that his daughter, who is also a writer, and had like her own series and her own stuff on her own side of things, he's asked that she be the one to finish the series. So she said yes because she doesn't really want anybody else to touch it.
Mm,
Keep in mind, so also the author lived in like rural Ireland, like on the coast, and he had this big, creepy old kind of haunted house to a
amazing.
degree, like an estate basically. And she's come back. She was living in Dublin and London, and she's come back. She came back to take care of him while he was ill before he passed away. And now she's trying to upkeep the house, and she's struggling and desperate for money and all kinds of things so that she can manage this place that her dad loved so much. And
Mm,
so the editor, Sam, he comes over from New York for them to work through this mammoth behemoth of like finishing a series like this in the first place, and tackling doing something that big that has like this huge fan base. Very like it was like a mix. It's like basically like the respect that like Tolkien seemed to have with like kind of like
mm,
Brandon Sanderson, like those
mm.
kinds of vibes is what you
Yeah.
get a little bit from it. And they have to work together over the course of the summer to try and finish this while she's struggling with writer's block and her own insecurities about things. And obviously there's a love story that develops between the two of them. This was adorable. I think I thought it would be cute, but like
Oh, yeah.
the banter between the friends, the banter between the two of them is top tier. It is so cute. You would really like
I was
this.
gonna say, I'm like, send it my way,
It
man. This
was
sounds good.
it's absolutely adorable. Their names are Sam and Kira. They're so cute.
Love
And
it.
I loved it. I loved their little love story. I thought it was adorable. I thought it was so sweet and genuine, and it was just like a really fun read. I just really enjoyed this.
That's so cute. But the thought of this is giving me anxiety. It's like, oh my God, like my most beloved series. If it just like the author died, like side note, I hope George R. R. Martin has plans in place like this because like
Oh,
he's clearly,
it's definitely what's going to happen.
I mean, he's never gonna finish.
Nope.
He's never at this
Nope.
point. Like, come on now. We're
Nope.
not lying to ourselves. Like, my husband comes out with this. Like, it's very funny. He has like a random angry outburst all the time. Like, somehow, I don't know. It kind of
Every
like
X number
happens.
of months he gets mad about.
It's really funny. Like, there's like no other like context around it. And then we'll just be sitting there and he'll just be like, God, I'm so mad he hasn't finished this book. And I'm like,
Like to the degree that you jump because you're like, oh my God,
oh my
what?
I'm like, oh, is it that time again? Is it that once a quarter where we get mad about this?
We get
Like,
mad at George R. R. Martin about this. P.S. Guys, how good is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms? It's the best thing that's come out of the Game of Thrones universe in a
I
hot
need to
minute.
watch it. I
It's
haven't
so
seen it yet.
fun.
I
It's
need to
so
watch it.
good.
Mm.
It's great. They're doing a second season. I'm so looking forward to it. I think it's going to be wonderful.
Is the first season done now?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay.
Okay, so we're way too far off track. It's
We
okay.
are.
It's
We are just
fine.
chatting around the Christmas tree here.
Yeah,
All
it's fine. Doesn't matter. It's fine. We can take the next little bit to talk about the actual topic today. So,
right. Yeah.
like I mentioned, we're talking about mood rating today. So, I mean, I think most people have heard the term, like, I think people are fairly aware, but essentially, at its core, someone who describes themselves or feel like they are a mood reader is really just somebody who reads according to the mood that they are in at any given time. So, this can affect, obviously, the idea of like keeping a strict TBR becomes almost impossible at that point. And Yeah. And combine that with even, when a person does maybe attempt to do this, or they have an idea of what they'd like to read next, you're not necessarily able to gauge very well what will happen. Sometimes you'll just pick something up and be like, yeah, this is the one I want to read next. And you read 2 chapters and you're like, I'm not into this
That's
at
me.
all. I need
That's
to
me.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's true. I feel like you have a tendency, because we can talk about this a bit too. I feel like for you, I feel like both of us are mood readers, first of
Yes.
all. But I feel like you lean into I think I know what I want to read, and I'm going to
Yeah.
start something and then get annoyed with it,
That's
like
exactly what's
20
happening.
pages in, and stop and switch to another book.
It happens all the time. But my problem is then I'm kind of like, I was like, so Catabasis is a perfect example. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm going to read this next. I know for a fact I'm going to pick this bad boy up. I'm going to read 10 pages and I'm going to be like,
Never mind.
I just don't have the mental capacity to invest in this right now. And then the problem is I like put it down and then I'm like in a state of like mortal peril for like 2
What do
months
I
where I'm like,
read
what do
now?
I read?
Yeah, it's terrible to deal with. That's it. I feel like, because it's good that we're kind of getting into like the vibes that we have with it. I
Yeah.
feel like you do that. My issue is like when I finish something and I'm looking for another choice, sometimes it takes me ages to actually settle
Yeah.
on my next book, because I'm like, and I'm talking about like, I'm like pacing back and forth in my house, looking at different like bookcases and being like, this one. And then
Mhm.
it's like I'll have to like read the dust jacket or the back of it again to
Mhm.
remind myself and be like, do I want to do this? And it's weird because sometimes it's extremely spur of the moment. I will suddenly be like, I'm reading that, and
Yeah.
I look at the cover, I pick it up, and I'm like, yup, and
Yeah.
I will get right into it, and I'm totally fine. And then other times I agonize over it for like 3 days. It's so strange, and it just hits you out of absolutely nowhere.
And like I think my problem is that I get so like I'm not like that. I get so like hell bent on being like I'm reading this next. Like this is what like I did it with is it called Assistant to the Villain? Like I was like
Yeah.
I'm going to read this next. And then I picked it up. I read the first 10 pages and I was like
I don't
just
want to
not
read this right
I'm like,
now.
I'm not really feeling this right now. And then I put it down and it's still next to my bed. And I'm like, but now what do I read? Like I and I'm like I go back to the fact that I have a teetering pile
Yeah,
of
yeah.
TBR books.
It
And
doesn't
I'm
always
like,
it doesn't always mean anything. That's another aspect that I think is really good for you to bring up, is the
yeah,
fact that you have, I mean, like, I'm saying this, I'm like pacing back and forth between bookcases on which I have a multitude,
yeah.
yes, a bunch that I have read, but also a multitude of books that I have not read yet.
Mhm,
that
mhm.
I'm like there are so many options, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe there are too many fucking options now, because also every once in a while I'll do that, and then I'll get to the point where I'm like, nah, and I'll go on Kindle Unlimited and I'll find something else on
Well,
there that I
this
don't
is
own, because I'm like, I don't, whatever, I don't know.
well, this is when I end up going book shopping because I'm like, well, I've looked at the 100 books that I haven't read and I'm just not into any of them. And
Pretty
so
much.
now I'm gonna go buy something else,
Yeah.
like
Literally the only time that I will actively turn that part of my brain off and
mm.
that part of my mood off, is when I have an upcoming ARC that I'm like,
I was
what
just
you
gonna say
Megan,
that.
what you want doesn't matter right now. You're reading this book.
And you know what? Like, it's actually been so good for me to have like this steady stream of ARCs because I'm just like, well, the man told me I have to read this next, so that's what I'm gonna do. And like, there's no like argument going on in my brain, so I just pick it up and I start reading. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, it's like being like back in my English lit degree where it's like, here's your list of books that you read in the
You have
semester,
to
and
read it. So I guess I guess riffing off of that a little bit. So we can establish I will just not start a book if
yeah,
I can't find something that I want to read, and you will start 4 different things
yes,
and spiral before you find
exactly.
something that you're actually willing to read in the first
3
place.
months later, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, honestly, for real. I wonder if part of this, and now this is something that I think you might be able to speak on a little bit more because you've had a tendency to do this more than I have. I wonder sometimes if some of the difficulty of that comes from times when you you maybe become really enamored with a specific author's
Yes.
stuff, and
Yes.
you pick them up and you're like, I'm going to read everything this person has
Yes.
ever written.
Yes. Because that's what I do, and it's a problem because when I like, and this is a thing with like fantasy series and stuff, right? Because like I think we all know, if you've tuned into any of our episodes,
Yeah.
I love fantasy. So like I think we'll get into it a little bit more, Megan, about how you have different like seasonal preferences.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But like as a rule, like fantasy is always like my go-to. And so if I've got like a series of like 8 books to
Yeah.
read, and then the same author has another duology or whatever, like like when I read like Lee Bardugo, like Six of Crows
Yeah.
and Shadow and Bone, I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna read everything that Lee Bardugo ever wrote ever. And
Pretty
we'll do
much.
that for a while, and that's what
Pretty
I do.
much.
You know.
It does seem to be, that's it. And that's something that you've had happen either with, and I think it's good, yeah, because it's either with like a specific author or it's within like a specific genre. And maybe
Yeah.
that's part of what winds up happening too, right? Is that like something like Assistant to the Villain, maybe
Yeah.
your brain was like, you were telling yourself, well, obviously I want to read a fantasy because I read a ton of fantasy. And maybe
Yeah.
you picked it up and then you were kind of like, actually, I don't think I feel like reading it right now.
That's exactly what
But
happened, and I was
it's hard because it's like that's like 80% of the books that you own.
exactly. I'm like, that's the problem, right? Like, if like I picked up Assistant to the Villain, and I'm like, great. There's 3 books in this series. I own all 3 of them. Thank you,
Yes.
Megan, by the way. And I'm like, I know I'm gonna like this. It's gonna be great. Like, let's all like, live happily ever after or whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't want to read this. And then next thing I know, I'm like, oh shit, there's nothing else I want to read right now. Like, this isn't
Yeah.
good.
It's true. That is a problem. And then it's weird because who knows, 6 months from now, you might pick up that first one. And then suddenly, 2 weeks later, you're going to tell me you've read all 3. And I'll be like, oh, okay.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
exactly what's gonna happen.
It's crazy.
Get ready.
Oh God. Yeah. I think on the other end of the spectrum, I definitely do the mood rating more than anything else, but I don't know what this is. And I've seen other people talk about this before as well. I have this tendency to lean into like seasonal rating where
Yeah.
I have wants and needs of very specific genres and subgenres at specific times of the year. And it happens almost every single year. And it's not consistent in the sense that it's not like, oh, this for 4 months, I can literally only read this exact subgenre and that's it. It's not necessarily just that, but it does happen more often than not, I would say, that I go through these phases. Like, right now, we are right at the beginning of March, which means that I am kicking off what will probably be a few months of fantasy reading.
Right.
Because it is just the time of year where I have a tendency to gravitate towards this stuff. I don't know why.
January was your time.
No. Normally I find by like February-ish it'll start to happen. January and February are a bit of a toss-up for me, depending on what I feel like doing. Like sometimes I'll pick up like a very winter set horror, which works really well for me. Or something light. Especially by February, if I'm like winter bluesy, I'll pick up something like a romance or whatever because I'm just like, I need something to snap me out of this way that I'm feeling right now. So I will definitely do that as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's like March through maybe into February, but like let's say February, mid-February until like May. I will go through this phase where I will read like 5 fantasy books because I'll just be like, yep, this is what I want to consume right now.
Feeling it. Yep.
Pretty much. And I'll start, and then for whatever reason, I'll finish one, and I won't immediately want to switch genres. I'll just be like, no, I'd like to keep doing this. And then summer can be a big toss up. I like a beach read as much as I like a horror that's like very snappy, so like a slasher or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of how I feel about movies, if I'm honest, during the summer. So that's part of the reason, probably. So I'll have a tendency to gravitate towards that. Then I get into like mystery thriller by like September. Like I'll really lean into those things if I want something
I've
light.
started to feel that myself recently. Now that I've gone
Really?
down like the whole like thriller thing.
Yes.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
fall is thriller time.
It sure is. You're like, I just want something kind of spooky. Maybe somebody gets murdered and we don't know where the twists are until right at the end. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're easy reads too, right?
Oh,
And
for
like
sure.
I think in my brain, like fall will forever be back to school time.
It's
So
true.
it's like, no, I cannot get involved in a very elaborate fantasy series that requires me to be very studious of
Oh,
what's going
yeah.
on in the series. I just need something very easy because it's back to school and I need to know
Back to
what's
school and I
going
need
on for
something
back to
easy.
school.
It's so true. God, it's so true. And I don't know why this happens every single year, but that's it. And then by the time like end of September, October rolls around, basically October, November, maybe December. December is a toss up for me. It depends what kind of mood I'm in and how stressed out I am. But like, especially into like October, November, I'm just like, I'm only reading horror. Don't talk to me about anything else.
And like it always makes me laugh like when I'm in the bookstores around the holidays and they've got all these like holiday themed books and
Oh,
stuff.
for sure. Like Christmas romances and stuff, which like I'll read sometimes. It's
I will
fine.
not. This is the
No.
one thing I cannot do. I cannot bring myself to read a holiday romance.
Yeah,
Like
you hate this. Eh?
I
We've talked about
hate
this
it
before.
with like a fiery passion. And I don't know why. Like I can't tell you why this bothers me so much, but I'm just like, how can you spend the energy on reading this? Like I
Uh,
don't get it.
I think that like it doesn't bother me from time to time. Don't get me wrong, it's not something I like lean heavily into. It doesn't bother me from time to time, but I can also understand why someone would just not want that at the same time of year that the stressful sort of time period of the holidays are taking place. Because for a lot of people, family stuff, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Whether it's like work or personal or whatever the case might be. And
Yeah.
it just feels like everything is so amped up at that time of year. Like maybe some people want it to like escape from that part of what they're dealing with, but for some people it could maybe amplify those feelings. And so like maybe you're
I think
someone who's just like, I
I'm that
don't want the
person.
holiday stress in somebody's book of all
Well,
things right
that's
now.
the thing. I'm like, why would you want to read about this? Like, give me a fantasy story that
Yeah,
I
give me
can like escape to while all the craziness of the holidays are going on, you
something
know?
that's like completely different. Like, no,
Yeah.
thank you. The rest of this. Yeah. I think I don't know. Maybe for some people it works. I'd also really, because I find like I rarely come across people who can do this. If you are someone who can stick to a very strict like TBR, like actually
Yeah.
genuinely stick to a very strict TBR, I would super duper very much like to talk to you about how you do that.
So my friend, we really got to get my friend KP on an episode at one point because I'm fascinated with her ability
Yeah.
to never DNF a book ever. So she's got like, she'll have like a list of books
Yeah.
and she'll like buy them because she's like, okay, like, so here's one, The Cruel Prince by, I think it's Holly Black.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
We bought like we were both like, I think they were on sale or something.
Sure.
It was like buy two get the third one free or something.
Yeah.
So we both were like, okay, let's buy like the three novels or something that are in the series or the first three or whatever. I could not get past halfway through the first one. I'm
Okay.
like, this is so terrible. I do not know how this got so popular. Nothing happened in this book. It is so boring. I hate all the characters. I don't care what's going on, etc. She fully agreed with me. She's
Right.
like, this book is atrocious. She finished the first one. She read the second one and powered through the third one only to conclude that all of them are equally as atrocious. And I'm like,
What the fuck, Kate?
how
What the fuck,
how did you
KP?
do that? How? And she's like, well, it was on the TBR list. Like,
Oh, yeah. Some people are weird completionists that way with a series. Like if I read the first one and I don't really enjoy it, I'm like, oh, I don't really care what happens in the rest of
I know,
this.
I was amazed. It's like fascinating. I'm like, we gotta talk books at some point,
My
you
God,
know?
like Kate, yeah, KP, just come on the pod with us because I'm
Yeah.
very confused as to how you managed to do that. I genuinely don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We all know it's neither of us.
Neither of us.
Yeah. Do you ever
I
feel, other than like getting into the mystery of it all now, do you ever feel like you're a seasonal reader? Because I know you've
Um,
stuck so heavily to fantasy for such a long time. I feel like that's a difficult question.
well, you know what I was about to say, like as I was reflecting, like prepping for this episode, one thing I would say I am is a comfort reader.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, like, if I am in a state of mortal peril and I can't figure out what to read next, I will just go back to a series that I have read like 4 times and I
That's
will
true.
read it again.
Yeah, that is I think this might be the thing where you and I differ the most
Yeah,
because I rarely, if ever, do a reread. It's
I
so
know.
rare. It's
I
so
don't
rare
know
for me.
how
Other
you
than like,
like, yeah.
I don't know, other than like childhood like favorites and things like that that I've done rereads of in the past. I feel like when I was younger, I did it a little bit more frequently. But the
Mm,
older I've gotten and the more like sort of great stories out there that I've found, I there's something in my brain that's like, yeah, but I can't waste my time and like go back and do a reread of this. There's so much other stuff to discover.
I would definitely say that, like, in the last couple of years, I have not done any rereads,
Okay.
which is odd for me because, like, I would do a reread of, like, and I'm not talking like a one standalone book, I'm talking like 5 to 8 book series, you
Oh yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this would be very normal for me to do at least once a year to be like, okay, like it's the fall or it's the holidays or January. I'm just gonna reread like a series that I know filled me with joy, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just something that, like, when I think when I would approach like the winter months, especially in Canada, knowing how cold and like dreary it gets,
Yeah.
it would just bring me like comfort to reread the series. But I have a tendency to agree with you now, like, especially, since we've been more immersed in like the pod and like we've been having ARCs and like,
Yeah.
like talking about like film adaptations and releases, and it's just like there's not enough time to go and do a reread. And I think because we're so immersed in like all the new releases and I'm really paying attention to what's coming out and what's
True.
hot and the topics, it makes it very difficult to justify going through like an 8 book reread,
Yeah, I feel like that would be an almost impossible task
Yeah.
now
Oh
to
yeah.
accomplish, just to like to actually manage to do it. I don't think you'd be able to. Or if you did it, it's like you'd get like 2 books in and you'd be like, well, I feel bad now. I gotta no,
Oh,
I've
100%.
gotta like I gotta start something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think there's something to partially like like ARCs, and it's just like, and we're so like, to your point, like paying attention to new releases and talking about new things, and it's just, this has given us such a fun opportunity to go looking for all of these new discoveries and go looking for new stories that we want to consume. And
Yeah.
so I could never really justify to myself being like, I'm going to do rereads of stuff. Like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. But it used to be like every year around, I'm gonna say January, I'd
Hmm.
be like, all right, which series am I rereading? And it was always usually, first of all, it was always usually Harry Potter, which
Yeah.
I cannot in good conscience do anymore because J.K. Rowling has tarnished it for me. So
Yeah,
God,
I don't think most of us can. I don't think that's surprising anymore. Like, it's disappointing, but I'm like, nah, I'm never going to reread those.
I just can't stomach it, and it makes
Nah.
me really sad because, like, one of the things that I used to always think about, like, oh, when I have my own child, like, I cannot wait to read Harry Potter with them. I just can't do it because she's ruined it so much, like with that comment that J.K. Rowling made of saying that, like, anybody who continues to invest money in anything Harry Potter related, she perceives that as them condoning her words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fucking done. Like, I'm
Yeah, no,
so
I know.
done.
It's been
You know,
completely tarnished and ruined now, and unfortunately, I just don't think
completely.
there's any
Like,
coming back from it. So,
I'm like, you just completely monstrous bitch to create this world where people felt included and accepted and like they belonged. And then you turned around and said, except for these people specifically, like, fuck you.
yeah, I
Anyway.
know. Yeah.
So like that. So like it used to be Harry Potter, but like then I would kind of go into the Sarah Moss of it all because I
Mhm.
love her books. But I'm like, I just don't have time now to
No,
do that.
no, there's no way to
Yeah.
tackle things that are this big or like this immersive and stuff like that either. And especially from a rereading perspective, absolutely not.
No.
But it's great. Also, I don't mind it because I'm still reminding myself that I'm constantly coming across and reading these new stories that I'm like completely falling in love with, and like
Yeah.
authors that I'm discovering that maybe I just wouldn't have
Yeah.
otherwise. And so I'm loving kind of the opportunity to be able to do that, and, being able to find sort of recommendations and things at like the drop of a hat if I'm
Yeah.
looking for something in particular. And it's so fun. It's just been great. It's just like a fun and great sort of experience. And I don't think that our mood reading is going anywhere anytime soon. I
No,
think we will continue to be this way for a very long time.
I would also say that like you heavily influenced me too, because I'm kind of like, well, Megan's reading all these like new things and I'm like rereading the same shit from like 10 years ago. Like I better
Join
get on that
me.
bandwagon. So like you've influenced me so much that I'm like into thrillers now. I don't think I'm ever really gonna get on the horror bandwagon, especially book wise, especially if there's gore.
Mhm.
But like I dabble. I
Yeah,
dabble.
I think on occasion, I think if you can find some that strike a good balance with like some humor and stuff in it, you're like, okay, I
Yeah,
can
like I
read
like
this.
a Grady Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My, How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates and stuff, I feel like would be a fun one for you to
Yes, I think I
read.
would like that one actually. You
Things
should
that,
send that my way.
yeah, things that are like a good combination that way, I feel it will work for you. And I'm never going to push you to like read something that I'm like, no, this is totally out of your comfort zone. That's your husband's job.
Oh my god, he just does that all the time.
More with movies, but like, yeah, it's bad.
He's like, "Oh, this movie isn't that scary.
He
Let's
does
watch
it
it."
so
Meanwhile, I'm having nightmares for like 3 weeks
He does it
after
so much.
one scene.
He'll be like, "I think Shereen could watch this," and I'm like, now I think, you know what I've noticed? He started like running them by me. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
he'll like in our group chat, he'll just be like, "Guys, do you think Shereen would be okay with this one?" And I will answer yes or no.
Yeah, because well, it's because after that disaster of that movie that he made me go watch that I made us walk out of halfway
Oh
through, not
my
even
god, I
halfway.
forgot about that.
I was like, I told him, I was like, you must now go through the strict vetting process called Megan.
For everything. So now he runs them by us, which is, I think, wise. It's a good
Very
choice.
wise.
Yep.
Very wise.
Oh gosh, yeah. Anyway, it's fine. You know what? We've made like half a horror lover of you, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. But
Um,
like, I think we can both agree that
yes,
the one genre that we will never willingly pick up is
probably science fiction. Although, you know what?
correct.
We say that, but you know what? Like every once in a while, I come across an interesting synopsis. And I think that regardless of what I think, I'm going to wind up adding some stuff and getting to certain things over time.
Yeah.
We've got this huge adaptation of Project Hail Mary coming out this month and
Yes.
stuff. And so it's just like a good opportunity to kind of remind ourselves that there's so much good in this genre as well, even if it's not our preferred one.
I agree with you, and like, we're obviously going to talk about it so much when the movie comes out,
Yeah,
but like I think that it's almost like a blind spot in our reading tendencies because it is such a rich genre,
for sure.
that touches on so many elements and like so much social commentary goes
Yeah.
into it that I kind of kick myself sometimes. I'm like, oh man, I really should make more of an effort because I feel like I would really enjoy more sci-fi if I just kind of found the right
The right one. Yeah,
sci-fi,
like
you
the right
know?
types of stories. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. I mean, like half of the time, like Arthur will be telling me about the stories that he's reading about. And I'm like, at some point or another, there are going to have to be at least a couple of them that I pick up because,
Mm,
he's telling me about what he's reading. And I'm like, this sounds really good. Like it
yeah.
doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah.
So hey, who knows? Maybe I'm swaying a little bit more in a
Yeah.
particular direction. And after we get another Andy Weir adaptation, maybe I will sway even further in that direction. We'll see how it goes. Right
Sounds
now, we get Ryan Gosling and a big rock alien. So.
anything with Ryan Gosling in it, I'm right there.
Oh, I know.
Except
Yeah.
that one with the hitman or whatever. I think it was that Ryan Gosling?
Which one are we talking about?
The one with Emily Blunt.
Oh, the stuntman thing.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was okay. It was fine.
I guess it was just fine.
But yeah, well, yeah. But some of them are just fine, and that's okay. Even if he can be the love of your life and be in just
Fall
fine
Guy.
movies, Shereen. Yes,
Fall Guy.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, it was okay. It was a movie.
It was fun.
Yeah. Anyway, we're super off track. I love that. Doesn't matter. Wrapping it up. So mood reading, fun. I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I,
well, obviously,
I,
but
I
we
feel like
can't change who we
no,
are.
I physically can't stop myself. So anyway, all right, everybody, we've got Coho coming your way next week.
Woo!
um,
My mom is so excited to go see this movie, by the
oh,
way. So.
okay, good. Well, I'm gonna drag Arthur with me. Poor him. He's like, oh, bring your other friend with you, and I'm like, no.
No, you're coming.
You're going to. So yeah. So that'll be fun. No, neither of us have the bandwidth or mental capacity to read it before the movie comes out. Apologies. We will read a full synopsis, I promise, and get ourselves up to date on what exactly the plot of the novel is so that we can do a bit of a comparison regardless. But I'm not gonna get there, guys. I can't do it. I've done it. I can't do it.
Full
I'm not
disclosure,
doing
it's
it.
not happening. You know
No.
what? I might attempt it. I
You know,
might.
okay. Well, you let me know how that
I might
goes.
not, though. I might
'Cause
have to put Catabasis on hold for a second here. Now that you've just reminded me of reminders of him.
but I'm shit.
But I might have to actually try and read it.
Okay. Well, you let me know because
I
there's
will.
no fucking way I'm doing
I
this.
know you're just like, no, never again, ever,
No,
ever, ever.
ma'am. No, ma'am. Did it once. I don't think I'm doing it again. I did
Never,
it
not
twice.
after November 9. That was
Bloody
it.
hell. I'm never going to stop talking about it. It's the most absurd book I've ever read. Anyway, anyway, follow everything that we've got going on. And, as we like update stuff, as we do have all of these new, adaptations coming out this month and everything sort of in the future for the rest of the year, over on our socials at Fully Booked CA. You can find us on all platforms if you look for us there, as well as over on the website, like I mentioned, at fullybooked.ca. As you can tell, we have a multitude of reviews for new and upcoming reads there for you. If you would like to check any of those out, you are more than welcome to. But until next week, guys, keep on reading.
Thanks, everyone.